Caleb Williams is gangster, y'all. Caleb Williams is gangster. Caleb is a bad man. Of course, by this I mean he has become a great quarterback with ice flowing through his veins. Caleb is the best looking young quarterback in the NFL today. I think by far. He's built like a quarterback and he carries the flair of stardom, partial, familiar and partial mysterious. There are other good quarterbacks in the league right now with better passing percentages on teams with more wins, but none of them look like this. None of them is built like this. And none throws a football like this. And none look like a Super Bowl champion like this. Caleb looks like a totally new quarterback compared to just the last season. I think we're looking at the next Heisman winning, next Heisman winning trophy, next Heisman winning quarterback to win a Super Bowl. So far, there are only three of them: Jim Plunkett, Roger Staubach, and John Warta. That's just how gangster Caleb Williams is. For much of last season, Caleb was caught in a story that wasn't his really. The noise was constant, and national commentators questioned whether the Bears had made the wrong decision at quarterback. His play was called mediocre. His confidence was questioned. Even his fingernail painting became evidence somehow of a lack of seriousness, like a signal that the critics claimed that he wasn't ready to lead an NFL locker room. That noise did what noise always does, right? It planted doubt. Caleb's first real challenge wasn't physical. I think it was psychological. He heard the criticism. How can you not? He absorbed it, and like many young quarterbacks, he began trying to solve everything at once: the scheme, the expectations, the image, the comparisons. The game sped up for him, I think. It was a little bit too fast. Decisions, tightened, and confidence kind of waned a little bit. Compounding that, compounding that pressure was a quiet, unspoken, rivalry across the league. Remember Jaden Daniels from he was drafted the same year as Caleb by the Washington Commanders. He was dazzling the league last year. Highlight plays, early wins, immediate validation. The uh, the contrast sharpened the narrative. One quarterback ascending, the other one was stumbling. The stumbling quarterback was Caleb Williams. But Caleb didn't, he didn't say it publicly, but the comparison lingered, right? That's how the trap forms, not through ego, but through awareness. The trap wasn't jealousy, it was comparison. Caleb began reacting instead of aligning. Pressing with patience was required, searching for proof instead of process. And the more conversation focused on optics and expectations, the harder it became to simply, just play quarterback. So it became a little bit challenging for him. The flaw revealed itself clearly, though, in hindsight, which was he was resisting coaching, I think, last year. Not out of arrogance, but out of combination of internal noise and really just bad coaching. Remember, it was Eberflus, and that situation was just chaotic for the Bears overall, and he was fired in the middle of the season, anyways. So and yeah, there were just too many voices, too many signals, too much emergency to disprove doubt rather than just absorb everything and play from instinct. Everything changed this year, though, with one decision. Caleb got a new head coach, Ben Johnson. And for the first time, he fully submitted to coaching. Not symbolically, but just publicly, practically, in every way. He stopped trying to win arguments. He stopped, trying to silence the narratives that were out there. And he stopped playing ahead or out of structure. Instead, he just started to trust his talent and trust the structure of the game that Coach Johnson's been giving. This was the point where things started to turn around. Um, and Caleb started to become aligned with what Coach Johnson's vision was and the play sheet. And he just carried it out on the field. And the alignment, has proved them right. The proof came in this 31-27 playoff win over the Green Bay Packers. A game that didn't feel lucky or chaotic. It felt earned, even though the Bears were down 21-3. Caleb didn't play like someone trying to answer critics. He played like someone reading the field, especially in the second half. He took what the defense gave him. I mean, you could see the difference when you compare, two halves. He protected the ball. He made decisive throws in high leverage moments and more decisive throws and even higher leverage moments, especially that last drive for them to win the game. And in doing so, he didn't just beat Green Bay, he crossed the threshold. This was the critical step, the moment where the internal shift, there's proof of the internal shift had become visible results. I think tonight, this game proves to us that he has overcome the whatever challenges he encountered in the league from last year. And the final step isn't winning a playoff game. It's understanding why you win, right? Caleb's success wasn't about swagger or self-expression or silencing doubters. It's about overcoming his flaw, which was first resisting the coaching and replacing it with his true strength, which is belief grounded in evidence. And that's beautiful to see. He still paints his fingernails. Caleb, he still likes to look at himself. But now he plays like someone who's confident, and his confidence, is aligned, and he's not defiant anymore. And that's where I think things have resolved for him. The incongruity isn't that critics were wrong; it's that nothing that Caleb had to change except who he trusted. You know what I mean? So, why? Let's talk about why this feels like the beginning of a run, of a serious Super Bowl run. Wow, how many, how many NFL teams with a second-year quarterback can literally be thinking of the Super Bowl? Wow, this is amazing. Super Bowl runs don't start with dominance, though. They start when confusion ends, right? And this is, I mean, for Caleb, the game is slowed down. He's seeing the field very well, and he's not panicking, even when the Bears are down. Caleb isn't chasing no Jaden Daniels anymore. He isn't answering the press. I don't think he cares about, I don't think he cares too much about what the press is saying and, anything negative about him. He isn't arguing with the past either, and that's, I mean, these are signs of maturity. And this young man has come a long ways after winning the Heisman Trophy and graduating from USC. Um, yeah, I think Caleb is continue to read the field well. He will continue to listen to Coach Johnson, and he's going to continue to play, you know, the quarterback position the way the game demands, you know, in specific situations and on a specific down, etc. Right? And that's not a highlight. That's a foundations. And foundations are how seasons turn into something more. Um, just imagine living in Chicago right now with this excitement, hanging in the air, in the air, um, all built up because of this quarterback. I mean, the man, he looks like, well, if you think of like, if you were to imagine a quarterback, if somebody were to ask you, paint a quarterback, make a painting of a quarterback or create a quarterback in a lab, it would look like Caleb Williams, built the way he's built. You know what I mean? Um, and you can tell the determination in his movements on the field. It's the most beautiful, it's the most beautiful thing to watch. And the man is gangster, definitely. And I think this is the beginning of a deep run in these playoffs this year. And what a wonderful, wonderful thing to see. It's very, very exciting for Chicago and the National Football League right now. Thanks, guys. Please like and subscribe. I hope you enjoy this.